fellow fiber collectors and stitch enthusiasts, it's Dee and welcome to YDC TV, and this is episode 52. Today we're going to talk about something that has been plaguing me all week, mishaps. Let's start with the one that occurred yesterday. I was cutting open a shipment of yarn and well, yeah. But I decided to turn it around. I have a project I'm working on for a friend who needs some help. She's a fellow content creator, and I'm making some squares for her. And instead of looking at it like, oh my God, I just ruined a completely good, perfect skein of yarn, I decided, well, there's one more block I need, and I need fringe. So I'm going to take this ball of yarn, make fringe, and what's left I'll make hats for Hat Not Hate. Now the other two mishaps are due a little to being tired and a little to being pushing myself too much. So I'm going to insert pictures here and explain what happened. Things started going wrong where you see the question mark. I kept having to recount and recount. And then it really went awry where the arrow. Now it's not that easy to see here in this picture, but you can see it. The yellow arrows are the correct version of the stitching group, and the red arrows are not. I didn't notice this on the first day. I noticed it only a few days later after I'd done 7 rounds in total. So I had to tink out or tink back, basically frog, 7 rows of 288 stitches. So basically I took this opportunity as more of self-reflecting and kind of how can I turn it around to look at each of these situations differently. For crocheting, I looked at it as how can I listen to what my body's telling me. I'm tired. It's time to stop and set the projects aside. Knitting, I looked at it as you're new. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're just learning. You've only started this in December. So after I got done taking the work back, which was a learning process on how to actually take your work back, I took that opportunity to practice knitting with, or I started learning how to knit with both hands because that's color work. So I continued to practice with that. And then I also, where I thought I messed up was because it's so many stitches and the graph is small. So I think I was losing my place in the graph. So in this next picture that I'm going to insert, you'll see where I broke up the graph with stitch markers in the actual line of work. That seemed to help me a little bit more. So I was able to work on my tension, working with both hands, and kind of perfect my style a little bit by reworking. So I kind of changed the way I was thinking about it and not being so hard on myself. So I hope, this may give you a little bit different way of thinking about it, maybe not being so hard on yourself. I know I'm not so hard on myself now. And then the final picture is a fun little montage. At least I told my husband, I was like, look, we have a new cat. It's of the alpaca version because I'm using alpaca yarn. And my shirt is covered in alpaca yarn bits. So yeah, so take a check at those pictures. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And until we see each other again, so stay tuned for those pictures.